Hello, everybody. My name is Gus Lopes. Welcome to Soccer with Gus, where we'll be talking today about the preview of the New Revolution game against New York Red Bulls this Saturday at 2:30 in the afternoon, early kickoff time. And because of that, I decided to bring my friend Gustavo Guimarães from New Jersey. In my opinion, the best insider of the Red Bulls at the moment. The guy has been covering the Red Bulls for a while now. He's a very famous guy in the New Jersey area when it regards to the Red Bull. He's a specialist. So I brought him to talk about this game, this matchup on Saturday. I hope you guys enjoy. Revolution still hasn't won a game this season. The team is 1-3 so far in the season. They lost to New York City 2 weeks ago. They didn't play last week. They had a bye, and now they face New York Red Bulls. And because of that, I decided to bring my friend to the channel, Gustavo Guimarães, from Pittside, West Brazil, and also the best Red Bull insider at the moment, or maybe not, but you guys decide to talk a little bit more about the Red Bulls. Gustavo, thank you for coming.
Always a pleasure, my friend. It's always special to talk about the New York Red Bulls, and even better when talking with friends.
I assume it's very special. Um, First, just doing a little recap as I mentioned before, the Revolution lost to New York City 2 weeks ago. I already did a post game on that. The team is 1-3 right now. They had a bye, and that's a very important game for the rest because Porter is on the hot seat, and anything can happen from now on to him. Meanwhile, the Red Bulls won their last game against Toronto 2-1 at home, tied Orlando City at home, tied Atlanta away, won Nashville at home, and then lost to Cincinnati. So they only have one loss this season. And Gima, starting with the Red Bulls, their season so far, and what can we expect from the Red Bulls from what they've done in this past 5 games?
I think the season so far has been average, nothing really special. The team has been dealing with a lot of injuries. Lewis Morgan will be out for the season for a couple of not out for the season, out for a couple of more weeks. Cameron Harper, which is a very good right back, also out. So it's been actually average, nothing really special. Forsberg has been carrying the team on his shoulders as expected, and Schopel molding is coming to life, especially during the last couple of games. Nothing really special, average.
As a team that came off an MLS Cup appearance, we should be expecting a little bit more from the Red Bull side, or no.
Yes, the 2024 New York Red Bulls raised the expectations towards this season, but the thing is, it was a Cinderella story. They were never supposed to reach the MLS Cup. So, having said that, front office did their fair share this season. They brought in good players, they brought in depth, and now it's up to Sander Schwartz to see what he can do. He does have full control of his players, his roster. He knows what he's doing, and let's see what he's gonna do next Saturday against the Revolution. But it's not a pretty soccer style to watch. Let's be honest.
And I think that's the Red Bull style. Not everybody's a fan of it. Not every Red Bull team can execute to the fullest. Um, the new revolution, I feel good news that Tomas Shankalai it's probably very close to be back. I personally been hearing a lot of good things about him of how he's been doing with his recovery. Peyton Miller might be a week away or so from coming back. And all the international guys, the guys that play overseas, mostly in Africa, should be back for this game. Uh, and Matt Poster should have way more minutes. Will be way more fit than he was in the last game. That being said, Campana is still a few weeks out to come back, so that's going to be interesting. And give me talk a little bit about the Red Bull style, and that's something that I really like on Porter, that he looks game by game and he changes his lineup game by game. So that's going to be interesting. I'm going to talk about the Revolution lineup. And with that being said, Gima, when a team is facing the Red Bulls, why are the Red Bulls so annoying or so hard to play against, especially because of that pressing style?
You said it all. It's the pressing style. They like to play up forward, leaving space behind. That can be dangerous too. It's been dangerous so far, especially in the game against Orlando City. They did exploit it very well and ended up almost winning at the Red Bull Arena. The high pressing style, they make the other team, the other players make mistakes very often. Um, they have experience up front. Forsberg owns the team, owns the midfield. He's the one that gets all the balls when the team is going forward. He's the one that does the distribution, and he's a very good number 10. Um, that's I think the strength, the most powerful strength of this team. So Forsberg, the high pressing style, um, it changed a little bit compared to the last couple of seasons because now the right backs and the left backs, they're not very um, offensive. Let's put it this way. It's not. Valencia has been learning, and on the other side, Dylan is more defensive right back. So the high pressing and Forsberg, that's the biggest strength of this team.
And Red Bulls usually they take a while to get going in the season, and this year doesn't seem any different, right? They're seventh in the East right now, and when I look at the matchup, I see a Revs team that has been very solid on defense, and they've been trying to create from the back, and they actually been kind of successful with it because they haven't considered much from mistakes from the back. But I think that's probably going to be the biggest concern for me going to this weekend's game because the way the Red Bull plays, they gonna force them to make mistakes, and I don't know if the Revs are able to suffer from that pressure without making any major mistakes.
There's a guy we don't talk too much about it, Peter Stroud, uh, which has been he came back from a horrible knee injury last season, and he's the guy that controls the midfield from the back going up forward, the transitions. He's the one that the Revs, especially Porter, should be looking, trying to neutralize. Uh, how can I say? Other than that, Forsberg, show promoting, he's been looking for spaces, creating spaces too up front. The team does miss Lewis Morgan. Lewis Morgan is the best, one of the best wingers in the league. He's obviously he was obviously a big part of the reason why the Red Bulls made to the MLS Cup. Also, they have a couple of guys coming from international duty. Carlos Coronel is coming from Paraguay. Omar Valencia coming back from Panama. You have some guys coming back from the U.S. camp, but those guys are more prospects. The injuries are the main thing right now, and tomorrow we're going to find out. I mean, this Thursday we're going to find out what Sandro Schwartz will talk about relating to the injuries, updating us so what we can expect for next Saturday.
Exactly, and I think the biggest storyline coming out of New England right now is the offense. The team hasn't been able to create much, uh, especially because the players don't seem to have an idea what they're supposed to do, and the decision making has been pretty horrible. And that being said, the trio of defensive players from Red Bulls right now, they have pretty high averages on football bellies. They all above 7, with Heck having a 7.5. Needles has a 7.1, if I'm not mistaken, for the last time I checked. And Ailey with a 7.5. So they play on a 3 center back man style, but with those wings in the side that help and come back. If you have to explain it to the New England Revolution fans, how is that system coming along? How would you explain that defensive line for the Red Bulls?
It depends. It depends on what the other team is also looking to do against the Red Bulls. Against the match against Orlando City, he opted for four traditional four men in the back line. Uh, Noah Ayla is the main guy when it comes to starting the build-ups. He is pretty good touching the ball. Sean and Hack, they're slow. Don't expect them to be running fast against opposition. But it's funny to think the Red Bulls or even watch the Red Bulls when it comes to the back line. The back line is solid on crossing balls, saving balls too. Carlos Coronel will be a major part too as well, but he's been soft. The main thing is they can be soft at times. Against Orlando City was horrible. They were reluctant of falling Orlando's players, and they conceded 2 goals very easily. Sometimes their mind go can go away for minutes, and then damage is already done.
And you talk about the speed, right? And that's again bringing back to Club Porter, and he's a guy that looks game by game. Against the New York City, he takes off Langoni off the starting lineup and puts Urrutia, which is a slow striker, and Ganago by the side. So he kind of tried to mix it up. So looking at the Revolution perspective for this game, I think Luca Langoni is going to be an essential piece. He hasn't performed well at all in the season so far, so that's going to be interesting. But that's a game for him and Ganago to kind of run at the guys and try to use advantage of that speed. And you talk about Orlando City. In my opinion, it's not Orlando City is not a fast team, but their midfield is so compact and they're very good at controlling the game from the midfield. Kind of to a certain extent similar to what Argentina did to Brazil, where they control the midfield and then they dominate the game from there. Do you think the midfield, controlling the midfield, is the way to beat this Red Bull team, or is there any weakness that we can see from the Red Bulls?
Controlling the midfield is a big part of it. Is a big part of it. If you retain the ball without making any mistakes, that's the way to beat the Red Bulls. Also exploring the left side of the defense. I mean, yeah, the left side of the defense with Edwards. Edwards is a very experienced player, MLS caliber. But since joining the Red Bulls at the beginning of the season, he's been soft again. He's the one that let Orlando score the second goal. He missed a couple of chances the next game against Toronto. He's been the weakest link of the back line. So controlling the ball, having possession, not making mistakes, not allowing stupid fouls near the box. The Red Bulls, the center backs are very good when it comes to attacking. Those would be the three biggest factors the Revs could use to beat the Red Bulls.
And that's very interesting. We don't have the injury reports for this game, so we still got to see who's going to be available, who's going to be. Carlos Hill had a he had a knock during one of the practice this week, so he had to left practice earlier. So we don't know his status. And every time you play against the Revolution, there is a huge difference when Carlos is on the pitch and when he's not on the pitch, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. It does make the difference. We do have an important absence for the game Saturday. Felipe Carvalho got a red card against Toronto at the end of the game. It was such a stupid card. I don't know if you saw it. He was complaining with the ref, and then he kept complaining and got the red card. So that's the biggest issue right now because you have an Uruguayan DP at midfield. That supposedly would help the team, and somehow he's not going to be available Saturday due to his own stupidity.
And who's been watching and now just changing the subject from the lineup for tactics and set pieces right now? Who's been watching the Revs? And I had a chance to talk to Club Porter about that a couple weeks ago, and they signed a set piece coach. I still don't have argument for or against set piece coach. I think it's an interesting idea. I know most of the European teams have it. I know some teams in Brazil have it, such as
The Red Bulls have
Flamengo. The Red Bulls have it, and the team was -2 in regards to set piece. So they were not effective offensively, and they also conceded 2 goals out of set pieces. And then after the New York City game, coach goes on the press conference and says, I don't think nobody else in the league practice set piece as much as we do, and we have not been effective. And I saw some type of disconnection between him and the front office in that sentence because it seemed like he was not the one who wanted to hire a set piece coach. And I know some things are going to change in regards to set piece and plays from the area ball because that's one area the Revolution have sucked, and which was crossing and trying to get the ball in the air. When you look to the Red Bull, especially defensive but also offensive, how is that team on set pieces, and is that a team that can cause a threat to the Revs in the high balls? High balls.
Yes, yes, they can be a threat. This season hasn't been a major effective thing. Last year it was. Don't forget you have uh, high center backs. They're super taller. You have show promoting now. It's a different style compared to the last year when the Red Bulls didn't have taller guys up front. But this season they do sign Chopo, and there's another kid from the Polish. We call him the future Red Bull star, Bogash. He hasn't played a game yet. He's been sidelining due to an injury. Supposedly he will be available against the Revs too. We've seen some scrimmage from the comms, and he was we were able to see him on the field. So it's a fact that can be a threat. I don't know how good the Revolution has been when it comes to winning aerial duels, but it's going to be something interesting to see.
Nice. Again, I think there's a little bit of a disconnection. That's not information, but that's just a feeling. I like to go by my feeling. I know sometimes it's wrong, a lot of times, but uh, the feeling that I have right now is that a lot of disconnection. You've been covering the Red Bulls for a while now. I think you've been through what, three or four head coaches since you started covering the Red Bulls, if I'm not mistaken. At least three, if I'm not wrong. Um,
Yes,
Sandro,
Armas, Armas, Struber,
Armas, Struber.
Hussein, and now Sander Schwarz.
So whenever the teams start losing and then things don't get their way, it's always the head coach to blame. And there's a lot of blame to be put on Color Porter. But I just want to get your thoughts on the situation. We had Lauren Courtois being fired this week. A little bit unfair, yes, but the team wasn't getting results. A lot due to Montreal not spending money and the system of having seven away games. But just as an outsider, as someone that doesn't live the day by day of the revolution, I just want to get your thoughts on the Calapori situation and this bad start from the Revs.
Still think I would still give him some time. I think we still are on the beginning of the league, the beginning of the season. I don't think it's time to hit the panic button yet, but let's give him 2 or 3 more weeks and see how it goes, and see if the team is able to win a game, or and then take this off the shoulders. Uh, I wouldn't fire him as of now. He has a winning background, especially with his time in Columbus, but it's disappointing. I do understand all the disappointment coming from the fans and all the expectations. We had a revolution that was running the East 2 years ago under Bruce Arena, and now his the team is not doing good for a couple of times, and I do get the suffering. Yes, we've been through the same too, especially when Struber was here last year as well. The Red Bulls only won a game between July and September. Then a loss to NYCFC at home, 5-0. A lot of people, including myself, we asked for Sander Schwartz's head. But when it comes to Porter, I still think he needs some more time.
Nice, and now just going towards the end of our little show right here. Uh, Going by lineup, I'm going to ask you the lineup that you think is going to play against the Revs in a little bit. But starting with the Revs lineup, Ivacic on goal. I think Feingold's going to start on the right side. Fofana and Ceballos, that's no doubt. And then Will Sands as a left back. And I'll say it again. I don't think Will Sands, since he got to the Revolution in the middle of last year, has not played a game where he was impactful. He hasn't made impact for the Revolution yet. A lot of people say he's talent, but I haven't seen the talent on him just yet. Midfield gonna be Matt Poster, Jackson Will, and Yusuf. I don't think Yusuf's gonna play 90 minutes because he just come off international international window where he did not play, but of course the travel from Nigeria to Boston is not the idea to play him 90 minutes. Carlos Hill up front with Langoni and Ganago. I don't think Kuruti starts this game, especially because last game he didn't have the best chances. He didn't participate as much as we would like to. And now, Gima, if you had to predict a lineup for this game, what would it be?
Could go for no. Start with the back line. Let's go with Carlos Coronel coming back from Paraguay. Then the three back center backs: Ula, Sean Ellis, and Alexander Hack, which is a new face in the team for this season. Left wing, Edwards. Right wing, Dylan Ellis, which is Sean's brother. uh, Covering the midfield, we have Daniel Edelman, Peter Stroud. Then comes the biggest question mark. We don't know who is going to be playing alongside Emil Forsberg. It might be Wiki Carmona, might not be the guy. That remains to be seen. And up front, you have show promoting by himself. So basically, that would be my guessing starting lineup for this game, but remains to be seen.
Nice. I do think Carmona is gonna start. I've been liking what I've been seeing from him. Is seems to be a pretty fast guy. He hasn't had the best games just yet, but I think with Forsberg, sooner those guys start clicking for the season. It's so easy to play alongside Forsberg. And talking about the game, I'll give it my thought and my run in just a little second. But how you think this game's gonna go, and your predictions for the scoreboard at the end of the game?
Um, Not too many goals. Maybe a 2-1 win for the Red Bulls. That would be my guess, but not too many goals. Not a very plastic one as well.
I agree. I don't think it's gonna be a plastic one. I think the Revolution is gonna get into the game very nervous. They have scored a goal technically, but was on goal, and all the situation, all the criticism and the certain things that have been happening off the pitch lately, it's gonna get into their heads. I do think the Revs is gonna score on this one. I don't know if that's gonna be a PK or whatever. I do think they score a goal, but I also think the Red Bulls is a better side, and they're probably gonna get out with a win. I do believe it's gonna be a 2-1 as well for this game. Just quickly, just want to get your thoughts. I know you watch a lot of Philadelphia. You also take an eye on the New York City Football Club and some other teams. Any surprises in the MLS this season so far for you?
I was not expecting the Union to be flying right off the bat, the way it's been happening. New coach there, new players. They did renovate the squad a bit. I wasn't expecting Philadelphia to be so good. It's a surprise too to see Ty Baribu scoring like a maniac. He already has what, 7 or 8 goals,
Six or seven goals.
something like that. Yeah, it's been absurd. Um, New York City has been kind of like the same as the Red Bulls, very inconsistent. They're able to play a very good game against you, and the next day, the next game, they you don't recognize what they're doing. Um, but yeah, let's see. It's that's the beauty of soccer.
And for you, where does the Red Bulls finish the season?
I can see them among the top four in the Eastern Conference. I don't think they will reach the MLS Cup again. I think they lost a very good opportunity to finish the drought, and it's kind of funny because everything gets celebrated here, right? You win the Eastern Conference for the team that hasn't won a major trophy since its inception. So they put a badge, not a badge of the Eastern Conference there at the Red Bull Arena. Now Sports Illustrated Stadium. Sorry, it's funny. At some time, it's shocking and also funny.
That's right. New England Revolution and New York Red Bulls, Saturday 14:30 or 2:30 in the afternoon PM. Two original teams in MLS. In MLS, if I'm not wrong, the Revolution has a better record against the
They
Red
do.
Bulls. If So that's at least one small win for the Revs so far. I appreciate my friend Gustavo Guimarães stopping by. We've been friends for a long, long time. We share the screen a lot of times. Guima, where can people follow you?
They can find me on Pitside, right? Pitside us.com. Also on X. That's it.
So that's it. That's the conversation I had with my friend Gustavo Guimarães. We both think the Red Bulls are favored for this game. The kickoff is on 2:30 in the afternoon on Saturday. I'm probably going to be around the Rebellion and the Midnight Riders for a little bit before the game, creating some content. So don't stop to say hi. If you see me, come and say hi. I really appreciate it. It's always fun having conversations about the revs and share a little bit of what I know, what I don't know, and hear what you guys have to say. A second announcement for this video. Every Fridays in Somerville, 85 Washington Street in Somerville, I am giving goalkeeper classes or practice or whatever you want to call it for Boston Vigor. Um, so every Friday, 5 p.m. If you have a kid or a son that's a goalkeeper or wants to be a goalkeeper, bring him in every Friday, 85 Washington Street in Somerville, Massachusetts. I'll be teaching a goalkeeper class. There is a small fee that the club charges or I charge, depends if you want an individual class. So just get in touch to know a little bit more. I appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate you guys comment, liking, or subscribing. If you guys have any comments on the lineup or anything we said in this video, please just comment below or on Twitter at Soccer with Gus. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Until Saturday.